it's Shelly Rose May, art by the Métis Mama, and I am on here to do a video on how to make one of these jumbo size altered spirit or butterfly girls that I make. I don't know what to call them, but let's see here. Where should I start? So I get these paper clips from the dollar store here in Rocky Mountain House. They're about that size. And what I do is we got to measure how much paper we need. It has to be able to wrap around. I don't know how to do this. Because basically we want it to wrap around the paper clip, but we want this part to be free, right? So I just kind of do this. This part kind of sometimes confuses me. It's a little bit, no, let's just cut it there. A little bit annoying at sometimes doing this part, but, and I'm just gonna fold this because, you know, we don't need trying hard to stay in frame. So yeah, so just do that. I don't know if you caught that, but basically what I'm doing is, so on this paper, if we look at this paper clip, so get the paper, trust me, I'm terrible at explaining this. I'm not good at making videos, but so put your paper clip on your paper like that, and then you're just gonna like fold that down, and then cut off any of the excess paper. So we don't need all that. So I'm just gonna take this off for a second, and I'm going to take off this extra paper that we don't need. Now you could use a paper cutter to make it more straight if you care about that, but it's going to be hidden anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, now I'm just going to measure about how much paper I need. So I want it to be kind of, you can have it up higher if you want to. I think I'll make mine just a little bit higher this time. So I'll probably cut around here. So I'm just going to go straight across like this. And I'll save this one for another paper clip. Okay, so now I'm going to put this back on. Like so. But first, hang on. I want this flap over here, so let's see. Yeah, like so. Okay, so before I do that, we're just going to glue this down. Now, you can use fabric tack, you could use Mod Podge, whatever, but I'm just going to use a glue gun because it's quick and easy and adheres. It adheres it right away super fast. So, okay, so I'm just gluing that down. Then I'll pop this back on, slip it in. So now what I would suggest doing, so because that part can be kind of a little bit annoying and confusing at times, what I would suggest doing is, like, this is the other piece that we just trimmed off. Take just a piece of scrap paper and just make a template for yourself and just write on there, jumbo size altered paper clip template or whatever. And then keep that with your paper clips. Then you always have it and you don't have to fiddle around. Because when I first started doing these, I was like, okay, how do I figure this? Like, I couldn't quite, I couldn't wrap my brain around how to kind of figure out how to put the paper clip on the paper, which might sound funny for some people, but yeah, that was just what happened. I couldn't figure it out. So, okay, so that's essentially, that's the hardest part, I would say. Like, that's kind of like the background of what is to come, like forming of your paper clip. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to take my glue gun again, and I'm just going to open this up a little bit here and put some glue in there, and I'm going to close that up, and that's going to keep now. I think I made this a little bit too big. I could have made it a little bit smaller, but that's okay. We're just going to leave this. I would have liked to have a little bit more snug on there. And you can do the top too if you want, on that right there, which I think I will. Okay, and that just keeps it closed. Got a little bit of glue on my paper clip there. Okay, all right. That is the beginning of your doll. Okay, so the next thing is, so this is just a paper face that I've printed out. This is all my original art. So the original paintings were sold, but I took the faces, pictures of the faces out digitally and put them in a Word document, and then I used them in my artwork, and I put them to different sizes for different projects. So this one, when I buy these wood discs, they come in a bag that have them in different sizes, and this is the smallest size, and I size the faces to fit those so that I can use them in my projects. So if you have original artwork and faces, you could do the same thing with your work. Okay, and then I'm just going to take some glue, some Mod Podge here. Take a little bit of that, put it on my disc, and then put my face on. And then I usually just take a nail file and just sand off any of the excess paper that's kind of hanging over the edge. Be careful not to sand like right on top. You're kind of just going on the side, And of course, you don't have to do this. You can just push the paper down or trim it off with your scissors, but I find this helps just kind of clean up the edge a little bit more nicely. So, and then if you want to, you can always ink around her face if you want to, but just be careful because it's easy to get ink on the face. Sometimes I use ink around the edges if I kind of accidentally sand a bit of her face off, and then it just kind of camouflages it. So, but I'm not going to do that because I don't need to. Okay, so there's the face. Now the next step is to make a body. So this is just a piece of, you know, scrap cardboard, and I'm just going to make, now this one's a butterfly, and I was actually thinking of making one with a dress this time, but like a little ribbon skirt dress, or let me see. I thought I might have had one, but I don't. But I think I'll just do a butterfly because that's what the tutorial is supposed to be for. So I can do a dress one another time. It's the same thing, you're just doing a dress instead of a butterfly body. So it's not perfect, but that's okay. Don't worry about the fact that it's covering up your beautiful picture there, because it is going to cover up the whole thing, and that's okay. The reason I use pretty paper on my backings is because I like turning it over and seeing the pretty paper there too. So you really don't need to use pretty paper if you don't want to. Okay, so there's, I think this body's a little bit big. I'm just going to trim it a little bit more so that it fits more, suits more the size of her head. Okay, that's better. Okay, now the next thing is to use some kind of scrap fabric for to glue this on. So I picked out this fabric here, and I don't have fabric tack, so I can't use fabric tack. So I'm going to do a couple things. I'm going to try to use I find this clear Elmer's glue works really nice for a lot of different projects. So I'm going to do two different kinds of glue. I'm just going to put a little bit of a layer of this on, but it's going to take some time to dry. So I'm going to put just a couple dabs of hot glue too, and we'll just tack that on. So just use whatever kind of glue you have. It doesn't, as long as it holds it in place, that's all that matters. And then I'm just going to trim this off. Okay. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? Look how pretty. Okay, and then this goes like that. But first, before we tack it on, we're going to grab some wings. Now, where are my wings? So you could use different kinds of wings. You don't have to use cardboard wings if you don't want to. I have this bag of wings. I use these for my spiritual workshop, so I'm not going to use these ones. These are feathered wings. You could use them, but I'm not going to. I use those for my spirituals. I think they're some nice plastic. These are plastic ones. These were actually, I got these, a whole bunch of these from the thrift store, super cheap. And I think that one's a possibility. And I've just been using them for, this one's nice too. I like that one. That one actually I think would be good. Yeah, so they were magnets and they were like different layers. So there would be like, you know, different layers like that. And so what I did is I took off the magnet and pulled them all apart. And I used them in different projects, mostly for my spirit dolls. So these are all I have left. I had tons of them, but I've gone through a lot of them. A lot of people don't love using the plastic wings, and I don't blame them. I like the feather ones better too. But they come in handy for other projects like this. Okay, so I'm just kind of layering these to see how they, okay. And then we want a tail and some kind of, I don't know. I like, see on this one, I put kind of like a ribbon there. So you could do something like that. Like I have the scrap fabric I could put there. But let's look in here. Let's see what we have in here to make a little tail with. So we want, like, I like to use similar colors if I can. Here's a nice one. Let's use this one. It's kind of like metallic, and there's some pink, and let's use this one's kind of pink. Here's another kind of pink and red. It's got some reds in there. That's fine. Here's another one. I like that one. Let's see here. Here's another nice little pink one. Need some yellow. Get some yellow in there. It's one string of yellow. Here's another one. This is just embroidery floss. Here's a nice gold. However, I don't know, put that on the side. I don't know about that one. Do that one. And let's see here. There's a little feather in there. Let's do this. This one here looks good. Is that it? Is that all I need? Maybe this one too looks nice. It doesn't all have to be pink, right? It's just trying to match the colors, but there's another yellow one. I think that might be good. Let's see how that looks so far. So we got yellow. Okay, we got some pink, some yellow. This one kind of has a little bit of red in it. That's all right. This one has a little bit of black and beige. This one's also beige. I like it to kind of be matchy, but I also don't like it to be too matchy. I kind of like that sort of collaged look, if that makes sense. When it comes to any of my art, I really love mixing different colors together. So I'm just going to use this floss to just tie this in half right down the middle. We're going to tie a knot like so. And then this is going to get anchored on the bottom here. So I'm just going to tie this on here. There. And you don't even have to cut that part, but you might want to trim the tail on here if you find it's too long. And then we'll take some of our other scrap fabric and just do like a kind of like wind this around. This one I think is a little bit too short, or like not thick enough. Should we do this one? Let's try this one. This one might work nice if we just went like this. Yes, except just play with it a little bit. Okay, no. Come on. Do this. There. I think that looks good. Possibly. Let's see. Put that down. If we put this one here. Like so. Something like that. I'm just going to make this a little bit more, like, give it more of a fringe. And I'm just going to trim this just a little bit because it's a little bit too long for my liking. Okay, I think that's going to work. So now how did I do that? Nope. Go here. Okay, so grab your glue gun and then put your oops, be careful here because you don't want it to be, you don't want that to you don't want to glue this part down. You just want it to be underneath there. And again, like so. That's good. And then we'll just cut off this extra. Now just make sure this part is glued down nice so it doesn't get in the way of when you're actually using it to clip papers together in your journals. There, it's good. Okay. Okay, now we're going to lay these down and we'll do something like that. Okay, so let's put some glue on here and put that down. Same with this one. There we go. And then we put the face on. Now before we put the face on, like this one has little antennas, you could do that too. It's easier to put that on before you put on the face. You could, like I did one where I had some, let's see here, if I can find any in here, some scrap like, here's like, this could make like a cute little crown. This is just a piece of a ribbon. Like you could glue that down and do something like that. So it kind of looks like her crown. And here's another little piece I was going to make something with. You could even like layer that on so that it kind of matches. It brings in the reds there, and there's a little bit of red in here too. So, or you could just leave it because that looks really pretty like that too. You can also bring some red in here by using embellishments. I really like that. I think I am going to do that. So I'll just put a little bit of glue down here. I'll put that on. Put some on here. And I like to kind of give her a little bit of a slight tilt on her head. Just a little bit. That looks kind of cool. Should I add this on up here? Kind of like that actually. Could add it up here or down here so you could still see, or I could put just some up here like that. Decisions. I might do that. I just need to trim a little bit of this off, like so. Let's do that. I'll put a little bit of cotton glue here. Okay, I like that. Okay, now you can add other embellishments on here too. And one of the things I like doing, but I don't have any made right now, and we don't want it to be too thick, but and I don't even know if I have any. And I don't. That's okay. Sometimes I have these like little hearts. You can put a little heart there. Okay, I think that's it. And then we just have to test it. My little altered book, let's just test it. It's small. It's too small for this book, but let's just try it in here. Some stick in there. Okay. There we go. Ta-da. There we go. There we go. She is done. You could also add fringe up here if you wanted to. Like, you really could do a lot more with this than just this, but like, I think she looks great just like that. What do you guys think? Here's the one I have in my junk journal, is right here. So this one I didn't back it on cardboard. I just cut out a piece of wallpaper. And I decorated this is like a butterfly, but instead of using that side of the butterfly, I used the other side and I decorated it myself. Then I just put this kind of like fringe on the bottom, and then I put the fringe up here. So, you know, there's different ways that you could make these. And if you're interested in purchasing this as a kit, I can certainly supply everything that you would need to make a kit, and I could give you the if you wanted this sort of like blingy fabric that I like using. It's that blessed fabric that I get from a friend of mine in Calgary, and it comes from a temple and they bless it. So I use it a lot in my spirit doll workshops, and of course for making these things now. So the kits are, so you get the paper clip, you get the paper, you would get wings, you would get some little scraps like this, some of this fringe, you would get the wood pieces, some faces. I give you, you know, 2 or 3 faces to choose from. You could do like a single kit, and maybe some other little embellishments. You could do a single kit with just one paper clip for $10. If you want 2, you could do one for $15. If you want 3, you could do 3 for $20. Is that what I said? 10, 15, and 20? I think that's right. Yeah. So message me if you would like a kit, and I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. And I'm sorry it took me so long to make that.